If you are worried about falling off the bike, you'd never get on. This was said by Lance Armstrong. People need to know the struggles that he faced when it came to battling his cancer and becoming a great bike racer. Lance Armstrong is a cyclist who had to battle cancer but overcame it and still did many great things. I have read many different stories and books about him throughout the years. And I found him very fascinating. I will talk about his life before cancer, then I'll talk about his life with cancer and how he overcame that. I'll also talk about his foundation that he started after his battle with cancer. Finally, I will talk about Lance getting stripped of his titles and his life after that. People had such great confidence in Lance when he was a kid. They would support him through anything that he wanted to do. Lance Edward Armstrong was born on September 18, 1971 in Plano, Texas. Lance was a very determined kid, especially when it came to practicing. Lance would bike for so long that he'd end up in Oklahoma and he'd have to give his mom a call to come pick him up. Lance's parents were his mom Linda and his stepfather Terry. Terry supported Lance's dream to ride. When Lance decided that he was going to do the Iron Kids Triathlon, Terry stood up for Lance when a guy was bragging that his kid would win. So Terry bet him $500 that he did not have, that he would win. And of course, he did. And in 1987, his life would change forever. Scott Etter came into Lance's life at the age of 14 and became his manager. Then in 1992, Lance went professional at the age of 16. And when he was 17, he was invited to go train with the U.S. Olympic team. Now that I talked about Lance's life before cancer, we will now talk about how he overcame it. Cancer is a hard thing to deal with, but Lance treated it like another hurdle that he would jump over no matter what. He was diagnosed with his cancer in 1996. Lance's cancer had spread to his lungs, abdomen, lymph nodes, and his brains. The doctors only gave him a 40% chance to live. It took 18 long, hard months of medical treatments and surgeries, but on October 2nd, 1997, he was cancer-free. After that, Lance started his organization called the Lance Armstrong Foundation, or better known as LAF. After he was cancer-free, Lance raced in the Tour de France. The Tour de France is 3 weeks long. The race is a yearly multi-stage bicycle race. Lance won 7 times in a row, according to History.com. Have you ever seen someone walking around wearing a yellow wristband with Livestrong on it? Well, look no further. Usually when you think Lance Armstrong, you think of Livestrong gear. And you can go onto his nonprofit website, livestrong.org, and you can purchase his gear. LAF was founded in 1997 by Lance Armstrong. LAF helps to provide support for people who have cancer. LAF has raised over $250 million. The foundation sells products, and the slogan Livestrong printed on the products. Lance's foundation is based out of Austin, Texas. According to livestrong.org, their mission statement is, we help people with cancer focus on living, and we believe unity is strength, knowledge is power, and attitude is everything. When the diagnosis comes, LAF provides information and key things to help people with cancer to live on their own terms. LAF's mission is to inspire and empower cancer sufferers and their families. Now that we have discussed all about Lance's racing career, I'll just discuss how that got taken away from him. In 2012, Lance was stripped of his titles. The United States Anti-Doping Agency's ruling wanted to bar Lance Armstrong. They wanted to bar him for life from Olympic sports for doping and for playing an instrumental role in the team doping in his winning cycle squads. Lance Armstrong has no place in cycling. He deserves to be forgotten in cycling, said Pat McQuaid, the president of the cycling union, which he said in a news conference in Switzerland. Something like this must never happen again. But before that, all that happened after the 2005 Tour de France, he retired. Lance lives in Austin, Texas with his 5 kids, 3 girls and 2 boys. Their names are Luke, Isabel, Grace, Maxwell, and Olivia. According to the New York Times, the reason he retired in 2005 was because he wanted to spend more time with his family. But he came out of retirement in 2009. Today, I first discussed Lance Armstrong's childhood. Second, I discussed his life with cancer and how he overcame that. Also, I talked about his foundation that he started after his battle with cancer. Finally, I discussed Lance getting stripped of his titles and his life after that. Lance Armstrong is a cyclist who had to battle cancer, but overcame it and still did many great things. In conclusion, Lance Armstrong was a great cyclist who overcame a lot and was stripped of his 7 titles in 2012.